All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ Podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a Kiss-related podcast by the board, for the board. We hope that you enjoy. Welcome to episode 171 of the KissFAQ Podcast. I'm your host, Julian Gill, admin on the KissFAQ message board, and I'm joined today by 69th Blizzard, Ken. And as a result of there only being two of us, you can take a guess what the topic is going to be, but we've got a few things to go through first. First and foremost, obviously one of the very long-time members on our message board, Miss Starchild, passed away this week, or this past week. And it's obviously a very sad thing. She's done a lot on the board. She's contributed and been a great member. But she was fighting some health issues for quite a all her life. But most recently, going back to September when she dropped off the board. So if people are wondering where she is, well, she went into hospital and unfortunately things didn't quite work out as she'd hoped. So she passed on at the weekend. So if you can spare some thoughts, prayers, or whatever you do for her and her family. Obviously, it's a trying time for them. Not completely unexpected nonetheless, but still, a shock. And I'd like to give a shout out to all the people on the board who've been asking after her. Obviously, respecting her privacy at this time, I've not been able to share any details, and I still won't as a matter of respect. But she did appreciate your prayers, your thoughts, and did appreciate people asking after her. I was in contact with her while she was in hospital, and she did appreciate it, and it was an important thing for her as she fought her health. So thank you all for caring. Very much appreciated. Next up is a little bit easier news than that. And the KissFAQ is going to participate in the Nashville Rock and Pod Expo again this year. Right now, all of the podcasts involved are offering perks to help raise money to fund this event. Whether you appear on shows or you buy some swag, you don't have to be attending the event in Nashville to participate in the perks that are being offered. The two are, mutually exclusive. Obviously, we'd love to see you there and meet you. And I'm sure a lot of the other podcasts would like to meet people as well, not just those who frequent the KissFAQ. But I just wanted to show some of the perks that the KissFAQ is offering this year. And straight hot off the presses is Gene Simmons' Vault Supplement booklet. If anyone remembers that I did the Kiss and related recordings focus book years ago, well, I've updated all the entries for all the material on Gene's Vault with a little bit more information than could be jam-packed into the Vault book. So for people who have the Vault who want to know a little bit more and see some pictures of some of the source material, it's in there. There's only 5 copies of that green cover. The green didn't quite turn out looking like the Vault book, so I've already changed it to a red one, so there'll never be any more than 5 of those, and 2 of them are already gone. So I will put the link in the page as to where you can go for more information on the Rock and Pod Expo. Next up, got a couple of copies of the special edition hardbound cover of Kiss on Tour 1998 to 2016. If you donate to the Rock and Pod Expo a certain amount, you can have one of these copies. There are very few of these. 5, I think. And these are 9x6 hardbacks with dust jackets. So, going to the big boy. The Atlanta Expo edition. I lost a box of these in shipping, so I got them replaced. So there's 3 of those available. And that is the big fucker. Obviously, it's already been updated for Indie, but those are the last of the ones with the Vinny photo. Finally, it's a proof copy of the Crazy Nights book. Still not complete, still not good enough to publish, as there's some interviews that I want. That's got the most recent interview in it, so it's proof number 2, and there's a few copies of that. So Nashville Rock and Pod Expo, we'd love your support, and even if you're not interested in perk and you want to throw us a cup of coffee's worth of donation, it will help get that event funded, pay for the venue, and help make it a reality again. Last year was really cool and generated a lot of good crossover between the podcasts, and also I think a lot of the attendees had a great time with meeting a ton of really cool musical guests. So Chris Inzak, BJ, great work last year. Let's make it great this year. All right. The Gathering 3 continues to grow for Kiss Cruise 8, and you've just got to check out their page on Facebook. It is absolutely wicked awesome what Andy and Joe are putting together for that with 4x8. Tickets are running out real fast. So I don't want to go through all the guests and details on that because there's just so much that's been added. It's almost like, well, it's an event unto itself. Forget the cruise for a minute. Everything that they're packing into one evening is absolutely insane. All right, so one last thing before I turn into a complete infomercial, and I do apologize. The Indie Expo. 2 more guests have been added this week. Lita Ford, who actually was one of my very first heavy metal cassettes, Dancing on the Edge, way back, which I only bought because of the cover, and Big John Hart. So they're going to be in Indy. Indy is getting nuts. If you thought Atlanta was cool, or a lot of these other expos, this is really how the big boys do it. Mother's Day weekend in Indy. I will be there. I will be selling exclusive books there and taping a show. So if you want to participate and come and go on the KissFAQ podcast, see me in Indy. More than happy. Last 2 things. Special announcement coming 3/29 turns out to probably be a red vinyl copy of Destroyer is going to be released. And talking of vinyl, the Rockologists have announced their very limited edition of Ace Frehley's Origins Volume 1 in blue Starburst double vinyl. And if you've been on Facebook, they really want you to follow them on Twitter and Instagram for your shot to get a copy of these. There's going to be signed copies. There's going to be random signed posters. If you think of the great work Tom Shannon and the Rockologists did for BK3. It's exciting. So check them out on Facebook, on the Kiss My Wax page, and obviously on the Rockologists on Instagram and Twitter. All right, all those paid product placements are done.
Yeah, the quick question on that red or the Destroyer, I didn't know it was Destroyer. That was going to be the vinyl.
Yeah, someone pointed out, I think it was Jason pointed out that they had posted a picture on Facebook which had like half of the back cover, and you just see a little bit of the cityscape off to one side. So it
interesting.
It could be completely different. That may have been a complete bait and switch, but it looked like red colored vinyl for certain. I don't think it's going to detract from the value of your 1977 Pi copies from the UK, which are the previous red vinyl. But cool nonetheless, especially if it has the Kiss 40 remastering. Sorry, I'm running out of steam here. Desperately need to let you talk. All right. So what are we talking about today, Ken? It's going to be discs 6 through 11 of the Gene Simmons Vault. Ken and I are going to pick our 2 favorites and 1 least favorite track from those discs. And I would just piss Gene off if I didn't say, you can get your copy of the Gene Simmons Vault at genesimmonsvault.com. Financing is available. So, can you talk about disc 6 for a minute while I have a drink and a breather?
Okay. Well, disc 6, and I'm just trying to remember it too, because I took these notes a while ago when we did the part 1 of this. So, disc 6, another 15 songs. Overall, it's a pretty good disc. Do you want me to give you my 2 favorite picks on here?
Yeah, if you want to do an overview of the disc or whatever you've written down, go with your 2 favorites.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I can do an overview of the disc, but it's some of the early stuff is on there. I guess some stuff we've heard before, like Love Is Blind and some other ones. Waiting for the Morning Light, we know that one. So among others. So I'll just go into my first my 2 favorite ones currently off the disc are the first one is Are You Real? That one. I really like that one. I think there is are there other Are You Reals on this set? I can't remember now. But that one I really like a lot. I think it's just a great song. I'm not sure when it was written, but I think it may have been. You might have that in the book in your book you just wrote.
Of course, I put it at the bottom of the bloody stack, didn't I? So where's disc 6
Disc
here?
6, Are You Real? And then the other one, while you look up that, is Love is Blind #1. There's a #2 right after it on this disc, but I like Love is Blind #1. So those are my two favorites.
Yeah, so Are You Real is from 2011. And that's all I'm going to say on that, because you can either buy a vault and read the book. We just don't want to ruin too much for Gene and for Rhino and incur the wrath of Keith any further. So when I was working on stories for the Kiss Monster discography page, Disc 6 and Disc 5 were really tough for me to do. There's so much material from Asshole on these two discs, and
next one,
there's quite a few versions of the same songs, which makes it a little bit of a tough listen. But it started to become a very listenable disc just on its own, even starting with Waiting for the Morning Light, which really is not one of my favorite songs ever. My favorites are, and I got to combine them, Is It Real and Are You Real? The acoustic kind of rough demo is used as an intro into Are You Real? Again, it's re-recorded in 2011 with Eric and Tommy, and I love it. I mean, it's kind of like, what was that song on, I think, a Second Sighting? Fallen Angel? No. Todd's kind of singing to a ghost. In that,
I can't remember the name.
Yeah, in that. So it's kind of similar in terms of its lyrics, but it's just got a really good vibe, the song. I love it. But I love that intro section that's tacked on, so I combine those two. My second favorite one on there is Guilty Pleasures. Should have been on a Kiss album. And if Gene Simmons Band does an album, they should do a version of that, because it is very 70s British rockish, kind of Mott the Hoople, maybe a little bit of Sweet. It's got a nice, pomp and swagger to it, which I just totally dig. I was surprised that, after I went through the box like 8 or 9 times, I kept coming back to, a few songs, and that was one of them. Yeah. So those are my favorites.
Cool.
Which is tough, because Beautiful's on there, which... All right, what's your least favorite?
Yeah, Beautiful. What I write? I just said it was good. Not great. The one to take off of there is the last one on the disc, actually. First Love.
You were my first love.
It was... It kind of... I don't know what it is. It's kind of just drags on, and it's kind of dreary, I guess. So, I mean, it's okay. But it's just, I guess, my least favorite on the whole disc for that one.
Well, you're just mean. You're just a Sophie hater, because obviously, if people haven't heard it, she did sing some of it on an episode of Gene Simmons' Family Jewels. I think she was at the piano.
God, can't remember that. Yeah. Okay.
So you can actually hear a bit of the song. I think Gene kind of interjects in it and kind of like works with her a little bit on singing it. But that is not my least favorite song. And this is going to seem like a total cop-out, but Love is Blind #2 is shit. And it's strictly because of the fidelity. The sound quality on that one is very much lower than everything else on the disc, so it stands out like a feature on Lemmy's face. It's just it's just pretty dire. I understand why it's on there, and it makes sense, but strictly because of it's like a 4.3 on the diving cards.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, Love is Blind, which is right before it on the disc, is so much
beautiful.
That's why it's one of my favorite songs. So.
Yeah, it's one of those demos that we've had for decades that really sounds good on the vault, which is what it was all about for me. Getting the stuff that I had, which I'd taken as far as I could, and improving the quality by finding lower and lower generational copies. Gene knocked it out of the park with that one.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's move on to disc 7, which is, again, a pretty difficult disc with some asshole songs on it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it has a lot of that period of time, and it's just... This might be my least favorite disc on the vault. I'm gonna say. I think it is. So anyway, having said that, my favorite songs too on it. One is Mirage.
Mm.
I think it's pretty good. It's just different. It's I don't know. I don't think I can even explain it, but it's just a nice, cool song.
And had you ever heard Doro's version of that? Because that was on her 1990 album.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that Gene produced.
Oh, that he produced?
That I think Tommy played on.
I probably did a long time ago, way back. But not since then, so there you go. It was good enough to be on that album. So then the other one is the last song on the disc is Never Gonna Leave You, number 2.
Ooh, okay.
I like that one. So those are the two.
Nice. Well, I went for All You Want's a Piece of My Heart, which, it's really tough to kind of go through these tracks without out telling people what it is. That was Adam Mitchell wrote that song, and it's simply him singing Adam's song with Tommy on guitar. So it's like the In Heat era when Adam was writing with Black and Blue. So again, it's about vibe. It's about the sort of material that Gene does. Either Gene does stuff that's very left field and I love it, or it's right where he should be doing stuff and I love it. And right where he does stuff is a pretty broad spectrum for me. So that's just one of the songs that jumps out at me. The other one is Never Gonna Leave You, number 1. So I guess we both like that song.
Oh.
But
you like number 1 better than number 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Where All You Want's a Piece of My Heart is a big, dirty rocker. That's all it is. It's like no IQ required to enjoy it. The other one's kind of quirky and dancey, and that's what makes it different for me. And that's why I liked it more than number 2, because number 2 was like a later recording, I think, with Bruce. And the first one was early 80s, which had a bit more of a disco kind of unmasked feel to it. So where Paul Stanley was boogieing his Tootsie off at Studio 54, Gene Simmons was Frankensteining and doing stuff like Never Gonna Leave You, number 1. So its quirkiness is what made me pick it.
Okay. Well, cool.
But I'm surprised this is your least favorite disc, because surprisingly, I could easily have picked Suspicious or Promise the Moon, the 2 rejects from Black and Blue. One was recorded and one was left off.
Well, I did like Promise the Moon. I mean, I wrote down that I liked that one, so it's one of the better ones on the disc. That's for sure.
You want to know why it's one of the better ones?
Why?
It's a leftover Elder instrumental.
Is
the riff.
Okay.
Listen to that riff, then go listen to the unreleased Elder stuff, and in that little vault booklet, it tells you more about where that riff came from. So, all right, let's do our least favorites on this one.
Okay, my least favorite is going to be Dog. It's just, I don't know. It's okay, but I didn't like it really on the solo album, Gene's solo album either, and I don't like it here. So.
Only McCartney can sing about dogs, right?
Yeah, Jet, right.
Or didn't he do a song, Do It in the Road, or something like...
Why Don't We Do It in the Road?
Yeah.
That's another song.
So, something like that.
That's better.
All right, so my least favorite is No Conscience. And it's just, it feels like the most incomplete idea on this disc. And because of that, it is the weakest link. I actually like Dog, which... kind of boggles the mind,
Well, what boggles the mind is I kind of like No Conscience.
All right, we're completely opposite on this one, aren't we?
Because I said for No Conscience, what you're talking about is I said better. I said it would have been better to be on Hot in the Shade, that album, than maybe some of the other stuff. That was just my opinion on that. So.
Well, now that we actually get to hear a lot of it, there's a lot that would have been better to be Hot on the Shade, like
that's
from
true.
both Gene and Paul. So it's not just one of them.
It's true. So.
All right, let's move on to Disc 8, and we're back into kind of safer territory here, a little bit more standard rock and roll.
Yeah, I liked a lot of this one. Okay, my first pick for disc 8 is going to be the first song on the disc, "We Rocked All Night." I really like that song, and what I think that's a newer. Was that a newer one recording? I can't remember now.
About
I didn't take
2009-ish, written for Sonic
Yeah,
Boom.
yeah, right. I think that song I would have rather had that on Sonic Boom than maybe one of the other Gene songs on there. I'm trying to think which one.
I'm an Animal.
Animal, maybe. Yeah.
Anything would have been better than that.
That would have been a good switch there. The other one I'm writing down is S&M Love.
Seriously, wow.
I like that song a lot. Yeah, but which is a precursor, I guess, to Sweet and Dirty Love, or after that, or after Sweet and Dirty. I don't know which version this is of Sweet and Dirty, because he's done a number of them. But
yeah, that's just another version of Sweet and Dirty Love that he gave a S&M title to, just to give it a different title than everything else.
Yeah.
Because I
liked it.
That thing's on there 3 times in a row, basically. S&M Love, Sweet and Dirty Love, and then Jelly Roll, which was the original 75-76.
Well, I like the S&M Love version, or whatever, the best of those. So.
All right.
I always kind of like that song anyway, in general.
Favorites for me: Bad, Bad, Loving. Go figure. We've had this one for decades. We've had this so long, it's actually, you listen to it in black and white. But the quality is absolutely stunning compared to even the very best versions that I had. Plus, it has the intro section, which wasn't on any of the bootleg copies that I've ever heard. So it was like, oh, wow, this is different. And then it was stunning. So it was, just very, very, again, the whole purpose of the vault for me is to have the very best versions of these that I get to pay Gene for. And that one, I have always liked that song. And it's not like the one that's on the box set. It's the full one with the sax kind of There's 3 songs on here that have sax that were all recorded around the same time. So I guess you couldn't find Binky, Bob, or Ace and used a saxophone player. Second standout is Chrome Heart. And it's just badass. I mean, if you think of how sonically dynamic Unholy was when you first heard Revenge, this is a very gritty, and it's lower form demo, but it's another one of those demos that begs the question why Gene didn't have more quality material on a lot of Kiss albums, because for me this one it could have used a little bit of work with Paul Stanley. To refine it and get that grit in the right places. That Paul, I mean, he's just so good at taking a song and sculpting it, whereas Gene is kind of the scatterer, and sees what stick. But he's got some good basic ideas in that, and while the chorus needs a bit of work, it's damn impressive enough for me to say I like it, and it's a favorite on that disc.
Well, speaking of this song here, you picked Chrome Heart. I'm kind of wondering. I was looking at that. I wondered if Gene said or Paul said, "Oh, Chrome Heart," or Heart of Chrome, or something like that. And they both went back and wrote their songs. And Paul's got on Revenge, and Gene's is didn't make it. So the other thing about Chrome Heart that I wrote down here, actually. I wrote a nice riff, and I said it's kind of like it sounds to me a Aerosmith type riff. That's what I got from it. So next time you listen to that, see if you pick that up.
And I'm just going in here for a second. This dates from about 1986. So way too heavy for Crazy Nights. So I get that. It's got a co-writing credit with Bruce Kulick on it in the Vault book. But it also includes the original handwritten lyrics, which have it co-written with Howard Rice. So whoever it is, it's doesn't matter. Damn good song. Might ask, see if Bruce wants to talk about some of his contributions on the vault. All right, let's do your least favorite on disc 8.
Okay, my least favorite is Till the End of Time. That's my least favorite. And you probably can't even remember it because it's so forgettable.
Again, I'm still not totally ingested the stuff.
It's just kind of, it's kind of I don't think there's even really real lyrics to it. He's kind of, testing the melody with kind of just sounds and things, but they're coming out of his mouth. It just doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't go anywhere. It's kind of blah, I guess you could say. But that one, I don't like it.
Well,
doesn't work for me.
Yep, that's all it's about. All right, my least favorite is We Rocked It All Night.
Oh.
My notes on this is it just tries way too hard. I get the sentiment he's going for. He's doing an autobiographical song. Electric Lady was our home. No, it wasn't. It was Paul's home. You weren't there. You were at like Magna Graphics or some cheap-ass studio. Kiss only recorded Electric Lady. What? Dressed to Kill, Asylum?
Love Gun?
Was Love Gun Electric Lady, or was it Record Plant?
I thought it was. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, well, I can't remember.
Anyway.
It's not like they It's not like they lived there. Let's put it that way.
No, they didn't live there.
Paul would do demos there. Gene seldom did, though he. All right. So, disc 9.
Okay. So you said you didn't like we rocked all night.
I didn't like the song you liked.
I liked it. That's all right. That's what it's all about. Everyone has their own taste and likes. And the other thing I'd say is on these songs, the favorite songs on each disc could change from day to day too, because that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
The more you listen to some. And
again, I've only had the Vault since January the 6th. And you haven't had it that long. So the rest of these albums and demos that we're intimately familiar with are so easy to talk about because they're just part of our DNA at this point. When you dump 165 songs on someone, especially with such a broad, again, spectrum of quality and style and genre, it's tough. It gives you indigestion, man. I mean, take some Zantac.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not ingrained in my brain yet, and I gave it a break too. I gave it a little break the last couple weeks, so I'm kind of coming in cold again. Even though I had written it down, what I liked at the time when I was listening to it,
you've got to have a break. And when Judas Priest releases an album, it's time to have a break. So
there you go. All right, so we're just 9, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So my favorites here are. It's Gonna Be All Right, number 2. I like that song.
Which one is that?
It's the second song on the disc 9. The first song is on disc 9 is Gonna Be All Right, I guess number 1.
Oh, okay.
It's Gonna Be All Right, number 2 is the second one. And,
that's the updated version, not the common one that circulated for years on the bootleg circuit that was recorded with Bruce on guitar. Later on, he went back and I think he gave it a more rock feel than the kind of mellow original version. So,
yeah, so that's my first one. The second one is right next to it, actually, number 3. Everybody Knows. Everybody Knows number 1. Because there's a number 2 right after it, but number 1 is the one I like better of those two.
Oh, and I found a typo. Good. So Everybody Knows number 1. And that was the one originally released on the Sex Money Kiss EP. But it's a slightly different arrangement on the Vault. It's a great song. Really,
I do like it.
Again, really good. So, for me, this is a really tough disc. It might be up there as one of the best discs on the Vault for me personally. So I'm going to go with the ones that blew me away on the first listen. And I actually had kittens when this disc played because Dial L for Love. We were led to believe that the version of the song that was released on Eric Carr's posthumous album Unfinished Business was as good as it got, that they hadn't done anything better. And then this full multi-track, sonically glorious version. Again, Gene sings it, but you hear a bit of Eric on backing vocals.
Mm-hmm.
And then you think of everything Eric Carr said about that song. Well, it wasn't finished. It's going to end up on someone's album. And you're like, what the hell? It is a really, really, really good song. And I love it. And it's not just because I'm in a bit of a Crazy Nights mode doing, the 30th anniversary book. It's a really good rock song from the middle of the 1980s. So that's a favorite.
It's amazing how some songs just didn't make albums. I just can't believe it, I don't know.
It certainly needed a little bit of work.
Oh, sure.
The chorus of singing "Dial Out for Love" just doesn't work at the kind of phrasing or that it's sung, but it's the rest of it's really good. So I guess Paul liked the idea of let's put the X in sex better.
Jeez, or you make me rock hard, yeah.
Which that's a good tangent. Just to mention quickly, did you look through the book and see that cassette tape of Gene's from 1979? Yeah, that has "Let's Put the Hex in Sex."
Really?
So,
I think I might. Yeah. That's interesting, isn't it?
So, forget the who was it? The Electric Angels, Jonathan Daniels, who had a demo of "Let's Put the X in Sex" or something similar when Bruce was working with them. Gene apparently had an idea going way back. At least playing on the same kind of idea. So, all right. So my second favorite song on this disc is "Are You Always This Hot?" The mythical 12th track from Crazy Nights. It was recorded and apparently left off at the last moment. You totally get why it was left off. It clashes. And when you have No, 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 which is a kind of similar high-speed rocker, I totally get it why you wouldn't have two songs of the same type from Gene on there. But it is stunningly good. It pisses me off that we went through 2017 without a 30th anniversary edition of Crazy Nights in aqua blue vinyl with a K40 remaster and then a bonus disc with all of these fucking songs. And there's 5 Crazy Nights era, or possibly 6, on the vault that could easily have gone on a bonus disc with all of Paul's demos and been a fucking fantastic, I call it Insanus Nocturnus, alternate Crazy Nights in very bad Latin. It just would have been stunning, but at least we get to hear them, at least Gene's, because you're not able to hear Paul's. I'm not allowed to talk about those. So
secret.
It's pretty weird. On a disc that is this strong with everything that's on there, Forever's on there. Everybody knows what you've mentioned. I Want to Rule the World. I went with the 2 from Crazy Nights there. Freaking go figure.
Interesting.
When I bitch and moan about that album, how it nearly made me not a Kiss fan.
That's funny.
All right, your least favorite.
Oh, yeah, least favorite now on this. I think Just Like the Movies.
Oh, was that the Stephen Bishop song? I think it is.
Is it? I mean, it's okay. It's not horrible.
Yeah, it is Stephen Bishop.
Because this disc is not. There's nothing. Just horrible. But I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. That one. It was either going to be that or Damn I'm Good.
I love that.
But because Damn I'm Good is. But then again,
It's just really. It's really groovy, and then he's like, "Damn, I'm good." Like the devil is me.
Yeah, well, that's what it was. I think it was too close to that kind of, and I thought, well, it's kind of been done before, so that's why I kind of put it lower on my list.
All right.
So there you have it.
Least favorite. This is tough. This is like picking your favorite child. I was going to go with It's Gonna Be All Right. The first song. I was disappointed.
Number 1? Yeah.
Yeah, I was disappointed that the sonic quality on that was not exquisite. And then I realized that, we collect bootlegs. And sometimes what we forget with those is that there are not pristine studio copies. Gene Simmons liked to record in a closet on a 4-track, sometimes on a 2-track. the idea of a demo is that it's a demonstration copy. It's to not forget what you were doing, to basically present maybe an idea as it becomes more fully formed. But it wasn't better than what I already had, and I was bummed because I was really looking forward to crystal clear on that one. And there obviously is no way to get better than what is already out there or what is on the vault for that. So I did actually go with that. I wrote out some notes on this that I was going to go with. I think there's something else on there that I liked even less, but I never got around to it. I was so busy bemoaning that. Maybe it's You're All That I Want because it's so close to what was on the 2001 box set. As good as it is and better than Unmasked, I think that was the one that I just felt was way too close to previously released. So either of those two are good picks. Either way, I finally paid Gene for it.
That's true. You really paid.
Oh, yeah.
You paid. All right, so we disc number 10, right?
Number 10.
Okay. Oof. Let's see what I get here. All right, disc 10. My first pick is Take It Like a Man, number 1.
Ooh, okay.
I like that song. Number 2 starts off the disc, but I like the number 1 version better. I can't remember how it goes right now. Is that the one where they do kind of the...
Take it like a man.
Is that the one where they do like a monkey's thing in it? No, I think it's a different song. Anyway, okay. I'm going off here.
Sorry, you're the wrong Ken to be talking about the monkeys with.
Yeah. Well, monkeys are good. They were good. All right. The other one is, you know what? I wrote the wrong song. Take It Like a Man number. All right. I got my markings messed up here.
Okay.
No wonder I couldn't remember.
Walk it back and fix it.
Going backwards. Scratch that song. It's actually my favorite. One of my favorites is, you'll probably laugh at this one. I Ain't Coming Back.
No, I like it.
I wrote down because it kind of got stuck in my head. I think at that time it was just one of those things that kept coming back to me, and it's kind of goofy. It's just a goofy chorus, but I don't know. I enjoyed it because it was just kind of so different.
It's pretty much built off the Never Gonna Leave You. It's I Ain't Coming Back.
Ooh, yeah.
A little bit disco-y, dancey.
Yeah, a little bit of dance music. And the other one is Piece of the Rock.
The Fleischman track.
That's the other one I wrote down that I liked. So those are the two.
That was
not that other one I mentioned earlier.
I was looking forward to hearing that, and then I did, and I was like, okay.
It's not as good as I was hoping, but again, I don't even know. I think about it now. It's like I know I've liked some other songs maybe better than that, but again, it changes from my mood and when I hear it. I think too.
Yeah. So my notes are a little bit weird on this disc. I start off saying that I like Take It Like a Man number 2. Because it's got Gene absolutely mocking the other members' voices. He wanted, obviously, to have the other members of the band singing either a verse or a line, similar to how You Wanted the Best was done. So he mimics Paul,
so how that turned out.
And then he has Peter, kind of gritty.
Oh, yeah,
and then he does, Ace, I like to have a drink sometime, for his line.
Funny. Yeah.
So it's hilarious, but I go for the quirky tracks on this one. Granny Takes a Trip, which is very similar to Weapons of Mass Destruction in terms of its riffage. So again, very heavy track. I like it. And the other one, and Andy, thank you for pointing out some of the technical details. I love Sticky Goo.
Okay.
As Andy pointed out to me, it's got a Bo Diddley beat, which is a strumming pattern. And I just thought it was quirky. Again,
Yeah.
if you go back into the bootlegs that we collect and some of the weird stuff that circulated, there's an Ace Frehley demo from, I think it's 1988, called Funk Rock, which is just him jamming pretty generic chords and stuff, but what he does with them is really fun. And Sticky Goo is that for me. It's,
Okay.
again, Gene doing something, it's a contrast. It's totally different than anything else on the vault. You can't say Sticky Goo has anything that it was derived from or
Right.
gave birth to.
The same thing.
Yeah, it's its own beast, which is what I love about Gene Simmons, that you can have Gene doing something with a Bo Diddley beat, which I didn't know it was, or you can have Gene doing a ballad, you can have Gene doing disco. Yeah. That's what the vault really represents to me. So many different facets of, you have Fat Elvis, you have Leather Elvis, you have Bell Bottoms, Aloha
Gold
Hawaii.
Elvis.
Yeah, Aloha Hawaii Elvis.
There you go. Yeah.
All of it packed into one album. So
Yes.
it's a really fun, actually, it's a really fun disc. There's you get a crystal clear copy of Howling for Your Love, which obviously has been out for quite a few years. That's, I think, 77, 76, 77.
Yeah, that's a good song. That one's one of my favorites.
You've got Roar of the Grease Paint, which would be too easy to pick, the precursor to Journey of 1,000 Years.
That's another one.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good stuff.
There's a lot of good stuff on this one. Yeah.
There's also a couple of stinkers. So what's yours?
Well, that sticker was that one I almost said was the best. So actually, Take It Like a Man, number 1. Okay. Was meant to be the stinker, not the favorite. It was because I marked it wrong, and I was like, man, wait a minute, I didn't mark that right. So yeah, number 1, Take It Like a Man.
Oh, that's the original one.
I just wrote it. It was just okay.
Yeah, that's really.
I mean, it doesn't mean it's horrible. Again, these ones are least favorites. It doesn't mean it's a horrible song. It just means it's my least favorite. Period. You know. Yeah. It was just okay.
And like I had picked on the previous one, I think it was. It's a very lo-fi recording, so obviously there is not better, unless you go to the number 2 version, which comes later. So. I'm very disappointed in what my pick for least favorite on this particular disc was. Okay. It was My Babe.
My Babe. Okay. Yeah, I wrote it was good, but that's about it.
Yeah, not great. My comments were 2 words: meh and weak. And everyone knows I love Eric Carr, and to have to give him the thumbs down.
Yeah.
Here we go to the bonus disc, which, here we go. Again, I don't know why you call it a bonus disc. It's just pretty much a continuation. All right, your picks.
Okay, see if I pick them right this time. Picking the wrong ones. Okay, first pick is Just Begun to Fight. Just Begun to Fight is my first pick.
Which is one of the demos that was recorded. This is circulated for years again. Recorded with members of the band Virgin, which Gene was producing around 1978 because a couple of the guys from the band ended up at the Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park shoots. So dates from around then. As much as I loved it when it surfaced, still love it now.
Yep, it's a good one. Now, the second one is... which a lot of people know. Lita is my other one.
Which was on the 2001 box set in better quality.
Yeah.
All right, so Lita.
Lita.
This one disappoints me because it sounds like the transfer I did from the acetate.
Okay.
So
I just like the song.
I wonder if they did a digital rip of the acetate before they sold it at the auction, because it's got the same jumps in the same spots that the acetate that I actually owned had.
Interesting.
Whereas the version on the 2001 box set sounded like it came from the reel, because there was none of those kind of fingerprints all over it. So it's still a beautiful piece. If you think of how early Gene wrote that in his career, absolutely stunning piece of music.
I mean, yeah, I could have easily picked, there's a couple other ones that Eskimo Sun, of course, and My Uncle's a Raft. I mean, I like those a lot too. So those are all the close. Any of them could have been picked.
Yeah, I'm guilty of, after My Uncle is a Raft, first thing I did was pick up my guitar. I'm like sitting there going, oh, okay. Oh, all right, Gene, I get where you're coming from with that. So my favorites on this, though, I guess people are going to mock me for a little bit. Mina-san, Mina-san.
You know what?
Hakushu. I love it.
I like that.
I love the sentiment. It's much, much better than Samurai Sun in terms of how it honors the Japanese fans and represents what the band means to them rather than what the fans mean to the band. Samurai Sun is... It's okay as a song. It's not dreadful. I certainly know which version I would prefer to watch. I'd rather watch the girls do it than the Kiss version.
Yeah. So what's the story with this? I mean, obviously Paul wrote one and Gene wrote one, and it was going to be like, we're going to pick one of these to use with the... Who picked? That's my question. Who picked the song?
Yeah, that would be a really good interview question for Gene. I mean, who chose it? Was the Japanese producer who was working with the girls?
Could have been Japanese producer, or could it have been
Paul?
That would be the only other person that would have, no, I like my song better than yours, Gene. Sorry. That could have been it too. But yeah, it could have been, like you said, the producer. Maybe the background vocals to fit better with Paul's song versus Gene's. I don't know. That's a possibility.
Maybe the girls here we go. This week is going to be this weekend is going to be the New York Gene Simmons Vault on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, that should be interesting. If you are going to it, the songs and stories section, shout out a question to Gene. He will answer questions. It's not all scripted bullshit. It really, if people ask, Keith's sitting up there with questions because he's prepared. He's Keith. He's ready in case no one chimes in. We had people chiming in L.A. asking questions. We've heard people ask questions at the other ones. Yeah. Someone ask him, how did Mina-san not get picked over Samurai Sun? I mean, how did that work? And see what Gene's take is on that. And if Paul Stanley happens to show up on Sunday, ask Paul.
That's true, too.
And as you're escorted out the building, blame the KissFAQ podcast and ask him to record a bumper,
There you go.
So I like that one, and I surprised myself going through this disc again. It starts off with "Feel Like Heaven," and after doing the Odyssey book, I was really, really, really hoping that it would be something studio quality, like the version that they'd recorded at Aces Studio and then finished off at Penny Lane Records right before Bob Ezrin became involved in the project as it transformed into The Elder. It's not. It's a slightly less steamy, flappy version of the demo, so it's not the X-rated one that many people have had to suffer through.
Yeah.
So I was disappointed in that, but the rest of it, it's a lot of Gene's 1970 publishing reel on this disc, and that's where my second favorite song comes from, Eskimo Sun. Absolutely stunning, and this was one of the ones I think I mentioned to Ken Sharp when we were in L.A. I was most looking forward to hearing, because it's kind of like mythical, it's legendary. We've heard the stories. We've read Goldmine in the 90s when Ken was interviewing Gene and starting to get some of the information out of Gene about his recording history, and we knew that the chords from it, the melody, became Only You. Now with the Vault, we know all these different songs that Gene did his Gene stuff with and reinterpreted it. But Eskimo Sun is a very young Gene. And, I've questioned, is that actually off the demo, or is that, it sounds like almost like a live band in some ways. But I've been told I'm hearing...
Listen to it again.
Yeah, people, a couple of people I've mentioned that to have said I'm hearing things. But I would love to know more about that. So for right now, in this, I've got it pegged on the 1970 demo, which, if I do just check quickly, Eskimo Sun, on the demo was 3:55 in length, and on the vault it's 3. The vault actually has wrong timings on all of the songs, and that I have correct. It's actually 3 minutes and 8 seconds on the vault. So a vast difference in duration, which I guess doesn't mean a whole lot. So I'm very interested to find out more about where some of these songs came from source-wise.
Yeah, well, me too. I'd like to know. Some of them are just unknowns, like, well, when was that recorded? Or,
Yeah, and that's one of my big criticisms.
Nice.
For someone who didn't do drugs or drink or smoke and can remember everything, we've got very few actual dates. I've been able to fill in some of the details from what I know. Now, that doesn't mean that Gene didn't record something like 8 years earlier on a kazoo.
Didn't he? I mean, you'd think you'd write down the date of the demo that you recorded.
He did. He did on some, because
I've all of them you would think you would, but
well, I've got some notes in here.
I guess he didn't.
Where is it? Man of 1,000 Faces. Here we go. You can just see. I've actually got the lyrics, and he said in the vault book. Well, I don't want to say anything about the vault book because unless you buy it, then you can read it. But that was written in October 1974, which you go back and then look at the touring history and go, holy shit, they were actually in Evansville performing on, I think it's September the 30th. So it totally fits. They were actually supposed to be performing the day before, but it was postponed because of a car crash with Billy Preston's equipment coming to Evansville. So it totally marries up with the date, in other words, that's listed on the lyrics in the vault. And then you have a sheet with Evansville Hilton. So shit like that. So that's what I love. And I would love to know more details. If Gene's got notes, then fax them to me. I still have a fax line, Gene.
There you go.
I know you like to fax. All right. Let's do our least favorites on this one. That's what it would be. Mr. Gill, I have a problem. What's the problem, Gene? You.
You're on his good list. Gosh, you gave him that nice book. At the Vault Experience. Okay, so my least favorite, I think it's Love by Invitation.
Love by Invitation. Disco. Freaking drivel.
It just goes nowhere.
That's the other one that's got the sax in it, so it's recorded around the same time as Forever and Bad Bad Lovin'. But it is crap compared to those two.
It doesn't really go anywhere, so that's it.
It also doesn't really make sense, does it? Love by Invitation.
Yeah, I don't know where he's going.
He's passing a note to a girl in the crowd. Hey, baby, come backstage. Love by Invitation.
I don't know.
I don't even want to try and get inside the mind of the Simmons. All right, my least favorite on this one is Gypsy Knights. As much as I want to like it, I can't. It apparently dates from around the same time as Feel Like Heaven. But it's just, compared to everything else on there, My Lorraine, Lita, Put on Your Slippers, Nancy. Nancy is really cool. Eskimo. It's just, again, for me, it's the weakest song on that disc. Which
I wrote that one down too as another possibility of, that was the other one that I would have written down as a least favorite. So
all right, so
I agree with you on that one.
That pretty much is the rest of the vault on Ken and my, favorites and least favorites. What do you think's going to happen this weekend when Peter Criss attends the vault on Saturday?
For how long?
But he's just visiting to say hi.
That's what he says. Yeah.
What do you think of that?
We'll see what happens. I think. What do I think is going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that's a hard one with Peter, but I'm thinking he'll get in the. Maybe he will do a quick performance, maybe with Gene. Maybe they'll do, a Hard Luck Woman or a Beth. I can see one of those two songs.
Nothing to Lose.
I mean, that'd be great. Yeah, it'd be nice if they could do that, but I don't see that one happening. I'd be surprised if they do that.
They certainly can't do anything that's on the vault because Peter's apparently not on it. So, have you found it interesting? Because I've been fascinated this week that Paul Stanley's been posting photos.
In the area?
He's in New York. So,
yeah,
do I get the feeling that the people on Sunday might not be too upset that they're not there on Saturday?
He might show up one of the days.
Do you think maybe he said, Gene, you're not allowed to announce me as a special guest. I will or I won't?
Probably something like that. Probably something like that. So
if you're a gambler and you want to roll some dice, I'm sure there's still some spots available.
Well, maybe Paul hasn't received a vault from Gene yet, but he has to show up at the experience to get one first.
Well, he's actually on the vault at least, so
he is. So maybe he wants his copy. If it has his stuff on there, some of his playing or whatever.
I think the only time he's actually explicitly mentioned is again during the You're All That I Want. How Gene liked to say he says it a lot in the entries in the vault book. Oh, sometimes I was on the road and I wanted to record a demo, but the other guys in the band weren't
around,
weren't around. So I went in and I played the drums, I played the bass, which I really doubt, to be honest. But I think he simply couldn't remember some of the session cats who.
Some of them, yeah.
I mean, we know some of the names of people who did sessions with him in the 70s. Whether that stuff's on the vault or not, I mean, there's at least 5 names. But Paul only apparently ever did the one with him, if you go by what Gene writes. Maybe Paul remembers otherwise, and he wants the extra 24 cents in royalties that he'll get from.
It's My Life.
Yeah, it's My Life is one of the interesting ones. So, but there we go. That's we're gonna do one more episode on the vault, and hopefully we'll have a guest on from one of our fellow podcasts who was also at the LA Expo to pick our best of the vault. We're going to make a CD of 15 tracks from the vault, and we're all going to go through our list there, so it'll be another opportunity after some further listens to correct our, it's not just going to be what our favorites are, it's what works as a greatest hits package if we were to give it to our fellow fans from Gene's vault. Well, we're not giving our fans anything. If Gene were to decide to do a digital download best of the vault like Best of Rare Cult they did with their box, they picked a whole bunch of tracks, put on a couple of alternative versions, and had a pretty decent standalone album. So for people who couldn't afford it, I think it was like $200, the Rare Cult box. It was worth every cent, but
sure,
we'll get around to doing that one in a few episodes, as we don't want to bludgeon people, especially when we'll probably do another episode about the New York Vault experience next week with some folk who are going to be attending that. So, any final thoughts before we sign off? Because I don't have anything further to say other than if you've enjoyed what we've said about the Vault, do visit GeneSimmonsVault.com and make sure you get your copy. He's moving dates around. He's adding dates. He's canceling dates. Sorry, people in Frankfurt. I'm sure he'll be back. So hopefully you'll get to enjoy your experience, and in the meantime, enjoy your vaults, those of you who did get them. So I guess for now, Ken, from Ken and myself, thank you for listening, and we will see you next time on the KissFAQ Podcast. Take care. Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ Podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.